Turning 30 was supposed to feel like a milestone. I had spent months imagining how my wife Megan would surprise me the way she always did. Last year, she rented a small yacht for my 29th birthday. The year before, a secret trip to San Diego. But on the morning of my 30th birthday, I woke up alone. No balloons, no cake, no wife. Just a note on the kitchen counter that read, "Emergency work trip. Back tomorrow night. Sorry." That note led me to room 304 at the Marriott and to a decision that changed my life forever. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If you have ever felt invisible to someone you loved, hit that like button. And subscribe if you want to see how a birthday cake became the best revenge I ever served. Now let me take you back to how Megan and I began so you can understand just how far we fell. I met Megan 6 years ago at a coffee shop in Austin, Texas. I was 24 years old working on my thesis for my software engineering degree, laptop, open headphones, and completely focused. She was 23, rushing through the door with a phone pressed to her ear and a large iced latte in her hand. I did not see her coming. She did not see my laptop. The next thing I knew, coffee was dripping down my keyboard and Megan was standing there frozen, her face turning red. She started apologizing before I could even process what happened. Tears welled up in her eyes. She kept saying she would pay for the damage, that she was so sorry, that she could not believe she had done something so stupid. I remember looking up at her, this beautiful woman on the verge of a breakdown over a laptop, and something in me just softened. I wiped the coffee off my keyboard, shook it out, and said, "Well, I guess you owe me a coffee date now." She laughed through her tears. That was the moment everything started. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. I asked her on my 25th birthday because I wanted her to be part of every celebration for the rest of my life. Our wedding was small and intimate, just family and close friends in a backyard ceremony under string lights. Megan cried when she said her vows. I cried when I said mine. We promised each other forever. For the first few years, she was everything I had ever dreamed of in a partner. She remembered every little thing. My favorite snacks would appear in the pantry without me asking. She would leave notes in my lunch bag. On my 26th birthday, she spent weeks creating a 100-page photo album documenting our entire relationship. Every picture had a handwritten caption. I still remember holding that album and thinking I was the luckiest man alive. My 27th birthday was a surprise picnic with all our friends. She had coordinated everything in secret, down to the playlist of songs from our first dates. For my 28th, she booked us a surprise trip to San Diego. I found out at the airport when she handed me my boarding pass. And my 29th birthday, the yacht. A small one, nothing extravagant, but she had decorated it with photos of us and hired a chef to cook my favorite meal. That was the woman I married. The woman who made me feel seen, celebrated, loved. But somewhere along the way, that woman started to disappear. It began about 8 months before my 30th birthday. Small things at first. Megan started placing her phone face down whenever a notification came through. She changed her password. When I asked why, she said she just wanted something more secure. I did not think much of it. Then the late nights started. She would come home at 9 or 10 in the evening, sometimes later, always with the same excuse: deadlines, client meetings, projects running behind. I believed her. Why would I not? This was my wife, the woman who had spent years showing me how much she loved me. She started going on overnight work trips more frequently. What used to be once or twice a month became 4 or 5 times. She would leave on a Thursday evening and come back Saturday afternoon, tired and distant. When I tried to hug her, she would stiffen slightly before relaxing. When I asked about her trips, her answers were vague. Just client stuff. You know how it is. I noticed she was less affectionate. We used to talk for hours about nothing. Now our conversations felt like transactions. Did you pay the electric bill? What do you want for dinner? I will be late again tomorrow. The warmth was fading, but I told myself it was just stress. Work pressure, nothing more. One night, about 3 months before my birthday, I woke up at 2 in the morning and found her side of the bed empty. I walked out to the living room and saw her sitting on the couch, phone in hand, smiling at the screen. The kind of smile I had not seen her give me in months. When she noticed me, she jumped. "Just work stuff," she said quickly. "Go back to sleep." I wanted to believe her. So I did. The week before my 30th birthday, I tried to talk to her about celebrating. I knew she was busy, so I kept my expectations low. "Hey," I said one evening while she was scrolling through her phone on the couch. "My birthday is next Saturday. Maybe we could do something small, just dinner, the two of us." She barely looked up. "Sure, we will figure something out." That was it. No excitement. No secret smile that hinted at a surprise. Just a dismissive, "we will figure something out." I went to bed that night with a strange feeling in my stomach. I told myself I was overthinking. After 6 years together, I knew my wife. I trusted her completely. But here is the thing about trust. Sometimes it blinds you to what is happening right in front of your eyes. On the morning of my 30th birthday, I woke up at 7:30. The first thing I noticed was the silence. No sounds from the kitchen. No smell of coffee brewing. The space beside me in bed was cold. I walked downstairs slowly, some part of me still hoping for a surprise. Maybe she was hiding in the kitchen with a cake. Maybe friends were waiting in the living room. Maybe this was all part of an elaborate plan. The house was empty. On the kitchen counter, I found a handwritten note. "Emergency work trip. Client in Houston needs me. Back tomorrow night. Sorry. No, happy birthday." No heart drawn at the bottom. No, I love you. Just a cold, businesslike message. I stood there, staring at that note, for what felt like an eternity. Then I pulled out my phone and called her. It went straight to voicemail. I sent a text, "Hey, it is my birthday today. Call me when you can." The message showed as delivered but not read. I sat down at the kitchen table alone and looked around at the life we had built together. Photos of our wedding on the wall, a magnet from San Diego on the refrigerator, a small sculpture we had bought on our honeymoon sitting on the shelf. All these artifacts of a love that suddenly felt very far away. Around 10 in the morning, my phone rang. It was Marcus, my best friend since college. "Happy 30th, brother," he said cheerfully. "Where is the party? I know Megan must have something crazy planned." I told him she was on a work trip. There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Work trip?" Marcus asked. "To Houston. Yeah, some client emergency." Another pause, longer this time. "Ahmed, that is weird. I ran into Derek yesterday at a networking event here in Austin. You know Megan's manager. He mentioned their whole team was off for the weekend. No one was traveling." My heart started beating faster. Maybe it is a different client, someone outside the company. Maybe. Marcus did not sound convinced. "Look, I do not want to assume anything, but have you noticed anything strange lately? With Megan, I wanted to say no. I wanted to defend my wife, but the words would not come. "Just check your bank statements," Marcus said quietly. "Joint account. See if anything looks off. Trust me on this." After we hung up, I sat with his words for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore his advice to preserve the illusion that everything was fine. But another part of me, the part that had been quietly noticing all those red flags for months, needed to know the truth. I opened our banking app. At first everything looked normal. Groceries, utilities, gas. But then, I started scrolling back further and patterns began to emerge. Restaurant charges on nights she said she was working late. Not fast food or casual spots. High-end places. The kind you go to on dates. Purchases at a lingerie store. I had not seen any new lingerie. Not on her anyway. And then I found what I was looking for. Hotel charges. Marriott, downtown Austin. The first one was 4 months ago. Then another one a month later. Then 2 more in the past 6 weeks. Always 1 or 2 nights. Always on weekends when she said she was traveling for work or staying late at the office. The most recent charge was from yesterday. Check-in at the Marriott. Room 304. 2 nights. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the transactions. One entry caught my eye and made my stomach turn. A charge at a florist dated the same day I had bought Megan flowers to thank her for working so hard for our family. She had used money from our joint account to buy flowers for someone else on the same day. I was trying to show her I appreciated her. I did not cry. Not yet. I just felt numb, like I was watching my life from outside my body. I grabbed my keys and drove to the Marriott. 20 minutes of highway, my mind racing the entire way. I parked in the lot across the street from the hotel entrance and waited. At 2 in the afternoon, I saw them. Megan walked out of the elevator into the lobby laughing at something. Beside her was a man I recognized from photos on her company website. Derek, her manager. Tall brown hair, expensive suit. He had his hand on the small of her back as they walked toward the hotel restaurant. I watched them through the window as they sat down for lunch. Watched her smile at him the way she used to smile at me. Watched him reach across the table and touch her hand. Watched her not pull away. Tears finally came. I sat in my car on my 30th birthday watching my wife have lunch with another man after spending the night with him in a hotel room paid for with our money. My first instinct was to storm in there, to make a scene, to demand answers. But then something shifted inside me. A strange calm settled over my chest.